legendary award-winning actress Lynn Whitfield. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, I'm really happy to be here. How are you?
I am great, and I'm excited about Uncensored. I can't wait to see it because I actually heard you didn't want to do it. So what made you do it, and how did you feel being so transparent?
Well, my friend Keith Neal, who works for the production company
Hmm.
that does Uncensored, he knows me. So he called me up at home and said, people they want to know more about you. They want to, hear about your struggles, that it's helpful and they want it and the network wants it and I want you to do it. And he never stopped calling. And so I finally said yes.
Oh, well, I'm glad you
Because
did.
I'm relatively private,
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a little uncomfortable. And of
Mm-hmm.
course, you know how they do these things, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, I'm getting to see you and talk to you, but when you do those kinds of interviews, you don't hear the other person's question, and you're just looking into a camera box and talking for hours about yourself. And it felt rather narcissistic, actually. I don't know.
So were
It
there
was like,
any?
is this interesting?
Uh,
Because I've been
it
living with
is.
me for a long time.
Yeah, but we haven't. So we're like, oh, what's she gonna say next? So,
Ah,
were there any questions where you said, I'm not gonna answer that, or that you were a little squeamish about answering, but you did?
maybe a few that I was a little,
Hesitant.
it's easy to be a a vulnerable character on camera. It's a little bit more challenging to be the character yourself
Mm.
and be vulnerable and share things with people. But however, what I didn't want to answer, I found other facets of the question and a way to answer it, and to share, because I figured, if I'm gonna do it, I might as well let people know that nobody is alone and everybody goes through things and obstacles and all that kind of thing, and finding your tactics to work through it.
Yeah, and that's important. That's important, especially for women who look up to you to hear, because they look at you and say, "Oh, her life's perfect. She's a celebrity. She's been all over." And there are down times. Was
Well,
there?
is it just women or could it be
No,
men too
it's
who want?
everybody, but I know specifically some women in my life look up to you and your career, and they actually
Oh,
aspire to be like you. And not everyone can say that they've been in more than 100 movies and television shows and have had a career that spans, for 40 years and be still
oh,
successful.
oh my God, that sounds so. Woo.
That is
Well,
accomplished.
yeah.
That's
and
accomplished.
and and and, and my life coach would say, just say thank
Yeah,
you and be
right. Receive it.
gracious.
Well,
So
that
thank
brings up a good point, though. How does it feel when people call you a legend or an icon? Does it make you feel, oh, like, no, don't say that? Or it's like, thank you.
I think it makes me feel like I've done a lot and I have so much more I want to do. So
Mm.
it makes me feel like I don't want to be put in a box. I'm so happy that my work has been appreciated, but I have so much more that I want to do.
Mm.
And I want, my fans to be expectant of new things, fresh things, fun things.
Yeah, well, you've continued to do fun things over your career. What would you say is one of the secrets to staying power in this industry? Because it can be so fickle. One day it loves you, and the next day it's throwing you out the door.
Oh, well, I've been in all of those phases.
Mm.
For me, it's continuing to do the work, to create characters that people want to see, people want to know about, to do work that is lasting and maybe not so disposable. So there's always a reminder. I cannot believe that they still play, you know, Thin Line Between Love and Hate and Eve's Bayou and Josephine Baker and the Women of Brewster Place. So many of the classics, like on the Western Channel, they are forever playing Silverado. And I'm so grateful. Because it means that, I stay relevant from what I've done in the past, and that there are new audiences discovering me, discovering those stories.
Yeah, and as people are discovering them, do you have any favorites that you're like, you know what, that was my hands down just favorite. I love that character. I'd do it again if I could.
Well, I loved Lady May, I love that long form of
Mm-hmm.
bringing this first lady, this iconic black kind of queenly royal woman who was very complex, who was a hard worker, because I know so many women like that.
Mm.
You go to
Yeah.
like schools like Howard University, and women who worked hard, who were leaders in our community. And I just it was a joy for me to bring that character to the screen, and to go to the UK, and it resonated with people, and South Africa and Nigeria and Jamaica and Brazil, a huge following in Brazil.
Yeah.
So I love that. Of course, you have to love Josephine, because
Right.
I won an Emmy, nominated for a Golden Globe, married the director, had a fabulous daughter. So that is still the gift that keeps on giving. But I kind of love all of the women that I
Mm.
choose to bring to the screen. You gotta love them, right?
Yeah, you do.
To Because you stick with them for so long, and I'm very
Hmm.
loyal to my characters, to not glorify them, but to really bring the good, the bad, the ugly, the complex, the fun of them to the screen. So it keeps
Yeah.
me entertained as well.
Well, you mentioned Lady Mae from Greenleaf, and I know that role was originally written for Oprah Winfrey herself. And you at one point had to go toe to toe with Oprah Winfrey on the show. What was that like
Oh
getting
my
in
God, that was
Oprah's
the most
face?
frightening thing. That was the most frightening moment. Maybe because I I don't get intimidated often, with an acting partner or anything, because you're only as good as your partner, and when you bring the truth together, it's great. So these two rivaling sisters, warring sisters, and I did it a few times, and I was a little bit, more subtle and reserved, and the director whispered in my ear, like, no, you have to let her have it. I said, oh my God, really? Are you sure? And he said, you got to do it. So the next thing I knew, the volition of an actor, I was letting her have the business. And all of a sudden I looked up, and my finger was in her chest. And I was like, oh my God, this is my boss. I don't know. How is this going to be taken? I don't know. And we just kept rolling with the scene. So yeah, it was a little threatening, but Oprah and I had worked together in The Women of Brewster
Hmm.
Place, and had very intimate scenes together in that. And so I think we're very trusting as acting partners together.
Yeah, and it made great TV, so job well done. Uh,
Thank you.
and we want to definitely talk a little bit more about your career. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back with more Lynn Whitfield. Welcome back to Black News Tonight. We've been speaking with the legendary actress Lynn Whitfield about her upcoming episode on TV1's Uncensored. Thank you again for joining us. I got to ask you, are you in the infamous Blue Room that I've heard about? That you're not only this amazing actress, you're a designer, and you created this room because we're having all these Zoom calls. You're like, you know what? I want to do something different.
Yeah, I figured that you know, my color skin looks nice in this room. It's neutral. It looks good with bright colors. Tonight I'm in black, and so yeah, and so it's a flexible room as well.
Hmm.
So I can change out those pillows for, deeper, richer paisleys, and with cocoa browns and things like that. And I have, oh my God, I could just show you. I have so many paintings and
Well,
things
show
that
us.
I
What you
can.
got? I want to see.
You
Like,
see
I want to see the tour.
see my fabulous lady strutting herself back
That's
there?
beautiful. Are you an art
She
collector?
reminds Well, I collect what I can afford, and I love going to consignment shops. I love going to flea markets and things, and just going
Yeah.
and buying from young artists. So I just, I like pretty things, and so
Mm.
I've been learning to express myself more that way. Even during the pandemic, I started sewing, and I made these skirts that I love because I
Okay.
love a circle skirt, and you can't always find them in the store because it's so much fabric. So yeah, I love kind of just expressing myself in different mediums, I guess.
That's
I don't know how to paint. Are you a
uh,
painter? Do you
I can
do
paint a
craft? Do you do?
wall. My wife is the creative one in the family. I just do what she tells me to do. I'm like, okay, up and down, like
Oh,
Mr.
that
Miyagi
sounds like
said.
a very, very promising relationship.
Exactly, exactly. Now, speaking of relationships, I want to talk a little bit about some of the things you will be sharing on the TV One special, because a lot of women and people don't think they could have it all. And you had a daughter at the height of your career, which most people would have been afraid to stretch out and do to create this family because they want to focus on their career, they want to focus on their goal. It has amazing role, and now they have to slow things down a little bit. How did having a
I
daughter
was
at the height?
terrified.
Right, tell us about it.
Terrified. I was terrified.
Mm.
So I think, I don't know what they keep in the show. So when I fell in love with the director, after we finished shooting, we got married. Brian Gibson. Uh, we went to London. We got married straight from Budapest. Now, that was, I don't advise such things. Don't be hasty.
Right.
Think it through. Uh, and and then 3 months after that, I was pregnant, and I said, well, oh my God, this is, I don't know if I'm ready for this. And when we went to have the test to find out whether it was a boy or a girl, I wanted a little boy because I felt like if I had a son, I wouldn't have to grow up as a woman. And, you know, that saying, by example, you lead. Because actors are very concerned with themselves, always exploring what they're feeling, what next moves are. It's kind of all about you, right? And how you fit into a story. And this was the height of it all. So we're at the opening night, the premiere of Josephine Baker, which is at MoMA in New York City. I'm having my makeup done and we're about to go. I have, like about a, I don't know, a 4 month stomach, little 5 month, whatever. And the doctor calls and says, "You're having a little girl." I cried my makeup off. The lashes came off. I'm like, oh my God, no, I have to grow up. I have to grow up. I don't want to grow up. Don't want to. I did not want to grow up. I didn't want to have to be a strong woman to create a strong daughter. And I figured, if I was having a boy, they always love their mom, no matter what. And yeah, it was not easy. So I think part of the moral of that story is I was deeply afraid. It was a huge challenge. I didn't have any idea how to be a mom. But now, in retrospect, and Grace being, we have such a beautiful relationship. We get on each other's nerves immensely. We're each other's muses. We're always encouraging each other. I can't imagine my life without her in it. And really, I think she's been my greatest creative endeavor.
Mm.
Uh, so
Oh,
it's just a really interesting thing. So things that we don't think we're ready for, sometimes they're the best things for us, the best thing to happen to us.
mm-hmm.
And we just have to roll with it and, keep everything moving,
Yeah,
as
and
I
you
guess.
you did an amazing job. Grace is very just graceful. She is the kindest and sweetest person, and just so
Oh, you've
loving.
met
So
her?
yeah, yeah, we've interacted in the past before at different events and things. So she
Oh,
is just always
great.
so kind. So you've done an
Ah,
amazing job.
thank you. And she's doing an amazing job with me, like helping me figure out the next things I want to do, and very encouraging. Sometimes
Mhm.
we're just having a nice dinner, and Grace says, "Mom, you need to do your own stories. You need to do this. You need to do
Okay.
that. You should do this and that and that and that." And I'm like, "Grace, can I please just enjoy this amazing food? Will you
Right.
please just leave me alone?" And
Oh
then I do
gosh.
the same thing to her.
Yeah.
She's, writing great music, performing great music, and now has started directing and did a short film around her music. So, okay, she doesn't have to encourage me now. Now it's like she's inspiring me, and I better keep up. So,
Right. Well, you've been doing
next,
a good job so far. And you mentioned being pregnant at the Josephine Baker premiere. I want to
yeah.
ask you because, a lot of people, especially around that time, I don't even know if you could say it these days, people are getting canceled, but they started to see you and call you a sex symbol. You had those skimpy outfits you were wearing. And how did that feel for you to be considered a sex symbol at
I
that
didn't
time?
understand it. No, I didn't know. I didn't know until years later that I was
Oh.
actually considered. I don't know if that's even an appropriate term now with everything that's going
Exactly.
on. But however, I didn't know about that. I was so earnest in my like I just really wanted people to respect the word. This was the big shot, to let them know that I could carry a film, I could be in every scene of a film. And I wasn't thinking about how people took in me as a woman, right?
Mm.
And when I found out, I was like, doggone it. I should have done some really beautiful nude pregnancy photos and like Demi Moore did. I was so inspiring. But yes, I didn't know. And then once I knew it, then I started to work it a little bit more,
Hmm.
but it was, it's so naive and silly. It's embarrassing to even say I didn't know.
No, that's okay. And you're still working it today. I know that you're very fond of your legs. I know you like to talk about your, your legs, and you hope that they didn't cut them out of the uncensored special.
I just didn't even know that they were really cute until later. And so, yeah, but
Well,
I think Diane Carroll said the legs are the last to go.
oh,
So I look at them, I said, yeah, they're pretty good.
oh, okay. Well, what are
Not
you?
bad, not
Not
bad.
bad. Oh, well, I was gonna ask you, do you have on your pajama bottoms? We can't see under the screen. Just very relaxed at home. But
Oh no, I'm just doing like a little velour thing,
oh, okay. There you
at
go.
home and comfortable. Oh dear,
Well, what are you doing to stay in shape, especially, during the pandemic, post-pandemic? A lot of people are trying to get their health right.
Not enough.
Mm.
Not enough. I mean, I'm really blessed that, I kind of don't really fall apart easily. Um, but I love saunas, and I really love Pilates. And so I'm going back into my Pilates mode because, Pilates was developed by a man who was, developed this form of exercise for dancers with injuries. And I really love dance. I danced a lot when I was at Howard University, in the actor section. And so, yeah, I want to get back to that. And then my next move is to get back to salsa classes because that is great cardio. So
Mm.
good. And it's just so. Have you ever been to a salsa club and seen
Oh
them?
yeah, I've participated.
You can salsa?
I didn't say I could. I tried. Just as
Oh
it.
my God, I love it. And it is the best exercise, best
Yeah.
aerobics. And at the same time, you're getting to whirl and twirl and be swooped up,
Yes.
in a partner thing. And
Mm.
I just love it. I find it so romantic and so exhilarating.
Yeah,
I
well, I
love
tell
it.
you, you keep swooping us up in all the work you continue to do, and we wish you nothing but the best and success. Please keep doing it. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. And you keep telling our stories and letting everybody know what is happening in the diaspora
Mm.
everywhere. It's so important that we stay abreast and stay connected.
Thank you. We sure will. We appreciate your time. And be sure to catch Lynn Whitfield's episode of Uncensored this Sunday, October 10th at 10 p.m. Eastern Time.